galaxy is burning. Brother fights brother, and treason splits the Imperium of man. This is the Age of Darkness. Welcome to the Remembrancers retreat, coming to you from within the depths of the vengeful spirit.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Remembrancers Retreat, a Warhammer 30k Horus Heresy podcast. My name is Jesse. It's good to be back. I'm here today with a bunch of us, including Michael.
Hey.
We got Will.
Hello, hello.
And our best buds, Austin and Steven.
Hey.
The twins.
It's been a while since we've just chilled out and talked and not go through any Legion rules and stuff.
Right.
It's a bit of a refresher.
Been doing a lot of deep dives recently.
And I figure at this point, how's everybody doing? Will, what have you been up to?
This week, I have found myself in a rut with the Ultramarines, kind of just not wanting to paint them anymore. So I put them on the shelves, and I grabbed some Vorax. I got 6 little Vorax that I'm painting up to have them done, and hopefully should have them done by League Night to Thursday. So hopefully have them by Wednesday. They'll be ready to go.
Okay.
Excellent.
I got a game in with Brennan and his Iron Warriors, so I know they're monstrous creatures, and they're gonna get beat up on, but I'm still excited to field them in that game. It'll be fun.
Nothing like just a couple days, last minute hobby work.
Yeah, it feels good, kind of like Russian again. Like, you get that event, like panic, where you're like, oh man, I didn't get these units done in time, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
It motivates you.
I'll put things off for a while, and then, for like Adepticon, I found myself sitting there for 8 hours straight on Sunday before I drove the next day up to Chicago.
Oh, right.
Just putting on transfers.
Yeah.
Like a machine. Like, as I finally get onto it, no excuse. And, it was pretty good. Speaking of Adepticon, I went to my first time.
Yeah, have we talked to you since Adepticon?
No.
Oh my
Lord.
gosh. Okay, so yeah, catch us up on
It's
that.
been a minute.
And we'll get into everything else.
So with this one, I went to Adepticon, myself, Caro. We went up, and I was kind of playing a little bit low key because this is my first time at this event. I want to kind of get a feel for just the overall experience. I didn't want to just go in there, slam into Horus Heresy, and not see anything else. I wanted to expand my horizons a bit.
Sure.
Get a feel for it. Adepticon is a lot of fun. It feels just like a very very big Nova Open, to be honest.
Really?
There's
okay.
There's a ton of classes, a ton of gaming space. I will say the most different thing in size is their vendor hall. It is a very large, sizable vendor hall. Reminds me of some of the like Comic-Cons that we have in Richmond. Maybe on a little smaller side than that. But it was really neat to go through a whole bunch of different vendors, see things that I might have seen online but never seen in person before. And that was
Sure.
really cool. Alex Self, one of our patrons, managed to fly in all the way from Australia.
Yeah, that's right.
And them, Kara, and myself all hung out for quite a bit of that time too, because we figured, Alex, if you came all the way to Australia and want to hang out with us, we'll hang out with you for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
And we wanted to hang out with them as well. It was a lot of fun. Got to have Alex Trout's Chicago-style pizza for the first time.
Oh, how was that? Yeah. I know it's controversial to say Chicago-style pizza.
I know Austin's over there, but it was pretty damn good. It completely filled 3 people, 3 full adults for like $16 and one giant pie.
I saw pictures of the pie. Yeah,
it was like a medium
definitely,
pie.
It was thick. Yeah,
it was a large pastry of some sort, certainly.
Yeah.
Although it does make me a little
pie, a PIE.
Yeah,
meat,
right. Like
an Italian
meat pie.
Yeah.
Although it does make me a little sad that you didn't get Alex some Mexican, because for God's sake, they don't do that in Australia.
Do they really not have
I don't think they really do it in the North or the North Midwest either.
Look, Yankees don't do Mexican either. However, they understand the concept, and anything you would have taken him to would have been the best Alex had ever had.
That is fair, but Alex is also planning to come to Nova too. So,
all right, good. It's a damn shame it moved, and we won't be able to get them that kebab.
Well, yeah, well, we can always make a road trip.
We'll find some Mexican for you, Alex.
Mm-hmm. I met a bunch of listeners. If you missed me, I'm sorry. Like I said, I was doing a real low profile. That was the biggest event I'd been to since the pandemic, and I was completely overwhelmed for most of it.
Jesse in a trench coat and a fedora, just gumshoeing his way through Adepticon.
Yep. But it was a good time. Heresy events were a blast. Don't know much more to say about that.
But you won Best Painted.
There was a Zia
you
Mega
won an
battle.
award. Come on.
There was a Zia Mega battle, and I did manage, just by cranking things out at the very last minute, eke out a Best Painted. So I was very proud of that. Managed to snag a medal at Adepticon on my first time, so that felt pretty good. But yeah, now I am never driving from Richmond to Chicago again, if I can help it. Oh my God. That was not great.
Did you do it all in one stint, or did you guys take a break at all?
We took a 2-day road trip. We started.
That's not bad.
No, we took it. Well, yeah, but then you're driving through, and sorry if I offend some listeners. You drive through Ohio, and you think Ohio is bad. Then you drive through Indiana.
This is spoken like a man who's never gone coast to coast. When you just
can't say I have.
Pleasant drive until you hit Kansas, and then you turn left, and then 12 hours later you turn right.
Yep.
And then 12 hours later you're in Vegas, and then you're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You think it's boring flying over the Midwest?
Oh yeah, Caro pretty much just drove across Europe in her mind,
basically, and yeah.
And yet the scene didn't change once.
It was kind of rough.
Forward as far as the eye can see.
Ooh,
Or soy or whatever they're growing these days.
I don't know what it was. I drove through a massive wind farm. I didn't realize there was one of those in Indiana, but for miles, for like a good half hour, 45 minutes, maybe it was a full hour, just, windmills as far as the eye can see. That was kind of surreal. It was kind of neat too. But anyway, Adepticon, really good.
You going to go again next year?
I don't know if I can do next year again. We'll see how it pans out. But
have you been?
The next time I go, I need to bring more friends.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because it felt really weird with none of the core homies around.
Oh, I bet.
That felt really strange.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like a foreigner.
A bit.
Have you been to the LVO?
Haven't been to the LVO.
Okay. I was going to ask how would you compare the LVO to Adepticon and then again to Nova,
Yeah, I don't think any of us have been to the LVO.
I don't think so. But I'm wondering,
one thing
we don't want to go to Vegas even when there's not a Warhammer event.
Yeah,
really?
There's that.
Well, Vegas is great, dude. I went when I was...
It was on my list for my pre-pandemic, pre-baby extravaganza.
Yeah, that's when it was great. That's when I went.
Then there was a pandemic, and that's why I still have like $200 in Adepticon credit.
But yeah. Mike, Steven, where you guys are at in your life? I mean, y'all are adults with no kids. Vegas is great, dude.
I remember the architecture being really cool. I was like 8 at the time, so I wasn't doing much else other than looking at stuff. But there was a lot of stuff
and collecting the cards they were being handed out, right?
Yeah, had some great
cards. The first
time
I went to Vegas, I was 16, 17, and I have developed since then a neurotic need for cleanliness. So Vegas is 100% a no-go.
Yuck.
It's very dirty.
Yeah.
Steven, I've seen you set foot into the Nova Open. I do not believe you.
I've smelled you step foot into the Nova Open, Steven. I do not believe you.
I've met you day 5 Nova Open. You can do it, Steven, if you really...
Nova Open, I've had enough to drink, and I can forget.
What do you think Vegas is? If not a place where you can have enough to drink to period.
Every day is day
whatever
5
you want to
Nova.
put at the end of that. Yeah.
At LVO.
I have to save all of that energy for Nova.
Yeah. But I am looking forward to Nova. So again, we're getting into what we've been up to. This week I started work on some big Blam items.
Yeah. We're going to, as things get more solidified up, we'll be talking a lot more about the Nova Open because many folks around here have put in a lot of effort. Like,
if there's a prominent event organizer that you have been to an event on the East Coast, it's likely, well, above what, North Carolina? Northeast?
Mm-hmm.
It's likely you will have been to one of these people's events at some point. If you're either in Baltimore, New England, Boston area, I don't know states, Maryland, Nova, Richmond, Norfolk area. I mean, we're all over. We have EOs coming from all over the region. So it's a great batch of people. So we're definitely going to be talking more detail and EOs and
basically
we've learned a lot.
The Avengers of East Coast EOs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we learned a lot from the last one when we were handed the reins, and there were some there were some growing pains there, but I think we're going to manage to have a really good time this year.
And most of those growing pains were on the back end where nobody seemed to notice.
Fair. Well, yeah, but when you're running an event, you notice.
Yes, sure.
Yeah, I noticed. Trust, I noticed.
I can tell you from where I was sitting, it went fine though.
Well, that's good.
I had enough of a peek behind the curtain that I could tell that y'all were struggling a little bit, but the results were there.
That's good to know.
The only reason I was struggling is because I thought it would be a good idea to run my event completely sober. And, nope. Broke my cardinal rule. Sober up in the middle of Nova. Shouldn't do that.
Nope.
Yeah, you need a solid cushion of inebriation to deal with Nova.
Oh, by the way, Mark Rayleigh and Casey were running a full conference-long Titanicus campaign at Adepticon. By the way, Austin.
I saw
him.
You
know. I know that.
I saw that
in the mists of time back when I was going to the 2020 Adepticon. I was actually the traitor commander for that event.
Gotcha.
So inshallah, one day. But of course, now my kid's birthday falls like right around Adepticon.
Yeah.
So
I tell you what, another one I'm looking
hit or
forward
miss.
to. Ben just announced yesterday or Friday maybe, but Call to Arms in October.
I missed that.
I love those.
That's a solid
Immediately,
one.
as soon as he announces those, I jump on those. So
nice.
I'm looking forward to that too. And I'm hoping to bring a new little list.
Very cool. I'll take a little sneak peek. One of the things that I've been working on for Nova Open is I've been making a handy, quick mobile website for people to access all the primers, to upload their lists for list submissions, and I think it's going to be a very handy tool, and I'm hoping that the end result will be pretty good. It's looking pretty slick right now. I'm pretty proud of it, so I just had to say something about it. Anyway.
It absolutely is. Hold on. I want to hype that up because it is really nice. It is not so it's a place where you can actually go, as he said, see your primer, but like the event for the primer. I think you also have the schedule up there as well. Yeah, I'll be
putting that in there as well.
And like ongoing narrative updates is planned for it during Nova. If I'm not,
that'll be cool.
Is that too much of a leak? I don't know.
No. I mean, hey, people are going to know you.
Yep.
About the Blam.
And then for me, the big one is the list submission. You can do all your list submission right there, and it takes it takes all types of different list formats, PDF, text, that kind of stuff. It's super slick. Super slick.
Yeah. Did you want to talk about the Blam?
No, okay. I think we should wait for the article. I think we should wait for the article to talk about that.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay, no, we have to talk about it. I do want to mention a little bit of it. Okay. Sorry. Okay, so this year, guys, we have changed up the Blam in a couple big ways. For one, we're allowing Titans again. There's no 4-sword chart, and you're allowed 3,000 points. So I think that's going to be great to see Warlord Titans on the field again, Reaver Titans, all that. We're doing away with like tokens that would bring back units. You now get reactions. And the biggest part is that we've changed the day. This is now the last event of Nova on Saturday night. So people typically use this event to get super sloshed, but then would have to wake up Saturday morning to do like bromash or bromance and then excruciatus, but not anymore. So you will be able to, drink to your heart's content at the Blam and not have to worry about doing anything Sunday morning. It's great. I think that is great in itself. But the big thing is that now, during the campaign, throughout the week, we have recently established milestones that will unlock bonuses that, if achieved, will have actual effects in game for the Blam. I don't know, Jesse, do we want to go over the list?
I think we can. We don't have to do the whole list right now.
Okay, all right.
But it's a lot of the narrative. A lot of the narrative events will have a significant effect on how the Blam is played at the very end of the convention.
And we're talking huge bonuses too, like game-defining. By winning certain events, you will earn game-defining abilities or bonuses. So it's going to be, I think, one of our most successful narrative battles, I think, right? Because it's gonna have taken all the accomplishments of the previous narratives into a final thing, and I think that's going to be a really cool experience where it's going to give players the feeling of agency.
Yeah, that's definitely one thing that I really like and want to see more of, and I think we're definitely taking right steps in that direction to have players feel impactful for the campaign as opposed to just playing a game, win, loyalist, okay, and then question mark.
Right.
But no, having a direct effect on how other things are going to take place at the Blam, I think, is a real fun step. It's going to be good.
Hopefully the Blam will be a nice, satisfying conclusion to the narrative arc.
I think so. That's the plan anyways. Or it'll be an absolute failure, but everybody will get super sloshed and they'll still remember it as a success. So,
people are going to be drunk and rolling dice.
Yeah.
So, hey.
But yeah, like I said, more to come on that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Austin, I had tasked you with coming up with a topic tonight. How's that for a segue?
Right? I gave you a job.
Oh, I am rusty.
Did you do it?
I am so rusty on this.
I did do it, Jesse.
Excellent.
I did. Because like you said, we've done a lot of talking about just like, this is a Legion. This is the stuff they do. We're taking a break. We're getting back to talking with the homies about the useless bullshit that makes this cast great. So, my question for the class is, what is your favorite, call it undervalued unit? Something you never see on the table, something that the internet just thinks is absolute garbage and you never see it at LVO's competitive 30K event. But it holds a special place in your heart. Something like that.
Can it be something that you yourself have never used, but you have seen it effectively used against you?
And if the internet hates it, if you can make that argument,
I don't think
the internet thinks it's bad.
Anybody
what a low bar to crawl over.
That's the thing, right? Like,
okay, no, you're right. People hate everything, so
people hate a lot of things,
pick
but like
anything.
something that's actively people like, oh, like I'm not going to bring that. Like that's super underpowered. Like that just never gets the job done. Or something you've never seen on the table.
Do you mind if I jump in? Because I have one off the top of my head.
Go for it, and I'll tell you if you're right or not.
It's the Javelin Speeder. I don't think a lot of people think that's a great unit, okay? However, I will say that if equipped properly, can be an excellent distraction carnifex, and if not only equipped properly, but then played right, it can be an effective unit that is just great at harassment. I've had these things drop behind me with the 2 las cannons, deep striker, outflanking or something like that. And it just caused such a nuisance that this thing came to the back of my field. It had such maneuverability to just fire 2 las cannons, which is not something to be ignored. And I just felt like, why don't I see these guys on the field more? Because it was a very effective tactic to harass me and pull me off of objectives, because now I have to go kill this thing. Granted, once I get into range and start shooting it doesn't last long, but the fact is it pulls me away from what I consider more important objectives,
No, I think that's a beautiful one. Actually, when Steven and I do Bellicosa B-sides, I did a whole list that was revolving around speeders. Because I'm with you. Like I think the javelin especially is very not underutilized.
Yeah,
in
like
this
I
edition.
said, I really don't see them
Like they're T6
often.
And the wild thing, Will, like I've got one, and I used it against Steven a couple of times in this edition as an assault unit. So like I've got a unit of bikes which are big and kind of squishy, even though they do have a 2-up armor save. So I don't want them to just, like, if they hit a squad of 20 tactical Marines, the tacticals are going to be obliterated. But if those tacticals Overwatch and Fury at full BS, I'm losing men that I can't afford. But you can Fury the Legion, a T6 Javelin, all you want. I do not care. So he charges in first, soaks up all of that, and then it's still, or I'm sorry, is it T6, right?
I believe
I'm
so.
saying this now.
I think the regular speeders are T5.
Yeah.
And then the javelins are T6. Again, I don't know.
Javelin is toughness 6, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
So then it's got a weapon skill, it's got a couple of attacks. So against like a just sort of basic or any shooty unit, really, it's not going to leak wounds because it's still that T6 thing sitting around. But it'll live through all the Overwatch, and then your kind of glass cannon unit can go in and massacre whatever was trying to shoot them.
Yeah. I mean, it really is an effect. And I mean, I think you were the one we now see, or that made mention that since we're getting the new sponsons for it, it'll have the heavy flamer sponsons. And I mean, pairing
and
the
Volkite.
Flamers with
Does it do Volkite?
Well, they're getting all the sponsons. The rework kit is going to have all the sponsons. So, I mean, Volkite on them, flamers on them. You put those heavy flamers on the charging one along with a pintle-mounted flamer. And
God, just triple flamer them. God.
Yeah. I mean, these can be very potential harassers. They are great. And I don't know why we don't see more of them on the table. I think people are so quick to write them off because they're thinking... I don't know if they're thinking of them as like they can't take apothecaries or I don't know.
Yeah, I am a little sad that it didn't come out in a full plastic kit.
Me too.
That is a bit of a downer because I think that is the other reason.
I think that's one of the things holding it down.
Damn, man, that's so obvious. Yeah, that probably is another reason we don't see them often is they are resin.
Yeah.
Especially this edition with the abundance of plastic.
It's $1 a point.
Yeah.
USD.
Yeah.
No, it is a fun unit. It is definitely a fun unit.
Yeah, and I think the T6 for that speed, it just makes, like I said, solid harasser unit. And if that's what you need for like a unit, if you've got like a hammer style, I think for Imperial Fist, right? You got a lot of shooting dudes.
Yeah.
This is, I think, a perfect unit to bring in to harass the back line a little bit. I'm not sure if you can do outflank with it, but point is, it's still a good unit. So
It's
that's
got enough
my
speed. It doesn't
that's mine.
need outflank.
You can outflank as when you do like Stone Gauntlet or whatever.
No, it has a outflank as a default.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it has.
I just
there's
some
outflank
rights of
as
war
default.
don't always allow the outflank, but I mean, if you get a right of war that allows
Gotcha.
it. So.
And honestly, the speeder's fast enough. Even if you can't outflank it for some reason, that's fine.
Because what are they? 16 inches or 24?
14.
Okay, solid.
Zoom.
Do they still have or I guess did they ever have the rules for the jet fighter speeder, whatever that was, the little flyer
the
speeder?
Typhoon?
The Typhoon. Did that ever get 30K rules?
No.
I'm not even sure it made it into Legends.
Bummer.
Yeah, it's pretty much a 40K only thing. And I'm pretty sure it's like a Imperial armor thing.
Yeah. And the funniest thing about it is the Space Wolf Woman's weapon skill 5 for the charge.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
Hilarious.
Yeah, can't hate that.
No, you cannot. So I think Will had an excellent starter.
Mm-hmm.
Who's next?
Oh, boy. Michael, go next.
Sure. Okay. So bear with me because I'm confident everyone on the cast is with me on this one. But I still see a lot of the internet talking about the tactical tax.
Oh, using it as like a bad thing to bring tacticals, right? Like it's
Like, I gotta bring tactical Marines. I gotta bring bear squads of tactical squads. No. bring tactical squads because they are so good.
Yeah.
They are putting out so much firepower.
Yeah, it's a terrible thing to charge. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm going to charge you. Haha, Overwatch, eat 60 bolters, balls.
You can take them in huge squads to just take up large chunks of the table
Yeah.
and deny your opponent those areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know, their bolters don't do a ton, and return fire will eat them up.
And 30
But that's
points
why you
will
don't-
ignore night fighting. So
Yeah.
consider that.
But like, you don't shoot with them in your shooting phase because you run them forward to where they need to be, and then they sit there and they're just annoying and immovable because it's a huge blob with so many wounds.
Even a 10-man squad. I mean, I've had success with 10-man squad holding objectives, you know?
Absolutely.
I personally like tacticals in 15, in blocks of 15. They have a smaller
Same.
footprint, so they're not like templates and blast weapons have been kind of less effective this edition. So it's not as big of a deal, but it's easier to get them all into cover. It's easier to keep them out of difficult terrain. 15 with an apothecary is just...
15 is also what I run, and fantastic unit. No notes.
I definitely agree with Michael. Tacticals are great, especially with my Dark Brother in Rite of War, because I can jack them up into veteran levels of weapon skill.
Oh, yeah.
And strength.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I run mine MSU style as Ultramarines, which I love because every unit, you know, the more units you have shooting at things, the more you get the benefit of it. So instead of running 2 10-man or 2 20-man tacticals, I run 4 10-mans. So now we're able to get a lot more shooting bonuses rather than just the 2. We can have one squad get a bonus for 3 others instead of one squad get a bonus for one squad. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, man, it's just so versatile. And on your Rite of War, I feel like the tactical is the perfect unit for every Rite of War, or for every Legion. It's the perfect core unit. You can get the different bayonets, so you can give them chain swords. I mean, they're pretty solid, guys. They're not bad.
They are. The only
Legion that I would maybe suggest think twice about tactical marines is World Eaters, and that's just because they can take the spoilers instead and have a shitload of chain axes running at the enemy.
I in addition to that, Space Wolves,
Oh, yeah.
Grey Stalkers, Grey Slayers
Yeah.
are just better tacticals.
Oh, fine. Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
Yes. Special
but,
snowflakes over there. Yes.
But no,
yes.
you
We're
are
better
right.
than
The
you and
World
we know
Eaters, the World Eaters getting their chain axes is definitely a big shift of it, right?
A 20-man Dark Angel Deathwing tactical squad when they're all get +1 to hit with chain swords.
We don't love it.
It's pretty good hitting on threes, I'll tell you what.
Oh,
and bad.
Yeah, they get real expensive with the chainsword. However, with the chainsword, they no longer have an easy counter. Assuming you've gotten them within range, that they'll be able to shoot at anything that shoots at them. Obviously, full kite from 48 inches away or whatever is going to melt them, but get them within range to shoot back, and that full kite can, take 40 to 60 shots in return.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Plus, they already had modeled chain swords before second edition came out. You think I'm going to take those off now?
No, absolutely.
I would pay those
Exactly.
points.
Exactly.
Always take
Which I'm glad at. I'm glad that chain swords have a lot of fun benefit with the shred now too.
Yes.
Yeah. So
It
what are they?
doesn't feel like such a blow to it.
So they're not two-handed like the chain bayonets. Are they +1 strength?
No.
Nope. It's
That's
post
the
combat with
trade-off.
shred.
Okay, so that's the trade-off is it's just not two-handed.
Which means they get the extra attack from having
Exactly.
a pistol.
Yeah. Okay.
It's if I remember correctly,
it's a
5
fair
points
trade.
per model.
Yep.
But that's effectively for shred and +1 attack.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, I can live with that, and I do live with that.
And that's on top of a solid shooting profile. Again,
But yeah,
for the points.
You're right. The term tactical or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as prevalent as it was in first edition, but that's tacticals.
Yeah, this is another unit that I think does better this edition than people have really grasped, like, in general.
Yeah, I think still people see it as the basic unit, so it might be overlooked by some, but it's definitely No, it is a core unit. It is not a basic unit.
Yes.
That's a
You'll
that's
not
a
go
good
wrong picking up a bunch of tactical Marines in this
Right?
edition now.
Mhm.
And your box came with what, 40, 60 of them?
40, I think. Yeah.
yeah 40.
40 of them?
And,
Delightful.
Man, I mean, just think about that. That's 4 tactical squads that can be
Mhm.
controlling 4 objectives. You could then put those guys in rhinos, man. Make them a little bit more survival. The crazy thing is, who was it? Matt did the math, and to run like 6 10-man squads of tacticals to fill up your troop slots with rhinos with artificer armor on the sergeants is like 1,200 points.
Yeah.
That's a crazy good core. Plus, that's putting multi-meltas onto the rhinos.
Yeah.
That is an insanely good core.
Yeah, that's
force
60 bodies and 6 tanks you got to deal with. Like, that's already a problem.
Exactly, and that's only 1,200 points. And now you throw on 50-point Centurion. Okay, now it's compulsory. You know, everything is, all the boxes are checked, and now all you got to do is like fill in a dreadnought or whatever. They're so cool.
Yep. All right. I know what I'm going to talk about, but I'll be right back after this message. Goblin's Hut is a distributor for the Dirty Down Effects paint line and other hobby products in North America. Dirty Down liquid effects and aging sprays have been used by prop masters in TV and film for over 30 years to create incredibly realistic-looking effects in a fast, reliable way. They can be spotted in some of your favorite media such as Star Wars, Game of Thrones, and Alien, just to name a few. That precision has now been brought to the miniature realm, and they are taking the hobby by storm. In the Dirty Down paint line, you'll find rust, moss, and verdigris effects unlike anything else on the market. With a good shake of the bottle, a single wash creates the combined effects of multiple other paints and even provides subtle texture. Dirty Down's entire line is water soluble, so you can achieve a wide variety of effects while allowing you to rework, remove, or layer to your heart's content to achieve the perfect weathered look. With this capability, the line is perfect for speed painting while also having the depth of use for competition pieces. If you would like to buy Dirty Down at a shop near you, ask your friendly local game store to go to goblinshut.com for info on stocking the Dirty Down liquid effects line. You can also purchase Dirty Down directly there as well. And right now, all listeners of the Remembrancers Retreat can get 5% off their order from goblinshut.com with our promo code RR30K. And if you're a patron of our podcast, you will gain an additional 10% for a total of 15% off your order. That's goblinshut.com. Use promo code RR30K. If you enjoy our program, be sure to follow our Facebook and Instagram pages at RR30K Podcast. You can become a member of our Discord community by following the link in our show notes. You can subscribe and leave a rating on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Be sure to share our program with your friends as well. If you'd like to further support our show, you can go over to patreon.com/RR30K Podcast and choose a tier that's right for you. We greatly appreciate your support. Starting with our Legion Praetors, Alex Self, Captain Sasquatch, Chap Lanissar, Chris Mack, Garner.Tree of Woe, Joe from Music City Heresy, Luke Rizzuto, Matthew Boyce, Mr. Baldwick, Nick Quenga, Rio Snice, Rena the Floof, Sarah Luther, and Variance Hammer. Our Legion Centurions, Aaron Maynard, Andrew N., Dave Jones, Doug Hobbs, Duncan, Gorkrow, Hard Fries, Kyle, Life Subaquatic, M. Tanzer, Manny Kutlakis, Matthew Andrasio, Nick Hilda, Richard Bork, Scott LeMay, The Zoy, and Winter. And finally, our Legion Sergeants, Agrippina, Aircraft Terrier, Bulfarius, Dale Jones, Emily O'Hare, Garrett Lowe, Jay DeSales, John, Jonathan Crane, Carl, Kay Shell, Noah Atkins, at Falsdax Monstrosa, and Travis Smith. Once again, thank you all for your support, and you can go over to patreon.com/RR30K Podcast to become a member today. All right, so kind of basing off of the tacticals, I have recently discovered a love for veteran squads in this edition. Some may say that it might be a little bit not quite the most cost-effective unit on the table. However, having Relentless, 2 wounds, being able to kit them out in different ways,
Fuck, I didn't notice they were relentless. That's
They
wild.
are relentless. You can now just run around with a heavy bolter,
Yeah.
just 360 nose scoping with, a sniper rifle.
Because you look at their war gear and you're like, oh, fuck, they have like missile launchers, not with the Spitzer webs.
And you can give 2
Yeah.
of them a heavy bolter.
Yeah.
Yes.
Or in my case, 2 of them plasma.
Yeah.
So here's what I did with actually some of my tacticals that I used from first edition. For Adepticon, I finally decided, you know what? I'm going to basically promote these couple tacticals into actual veteran squads. So I painted up some Deathwing bone armor on some of their shoulder pads and
sick,
little areas.
dude.
Nice.
Gave them a little bit of rough and tumble look to it. Just a little just a glow up of just a rough up, glow up, and so really excited with that, and it felt cool. It felt very I don't know.
Thematic, I would say.
Yeah, it felt very thematic. They are now Deathwing veterans.
Yeah.
When originally they were just, tacticals.
They survived a whole edition.
Yeah,
They deserve it.
And their little multi-melter rhino, all edition.
Did the multi-melter rhino get promoted with them? Did you put Deathwing or
I should.
heraldry on it? I
really should.
Yeah.
Get that +1 bonus to smash stuff.
They serve who also drive the cars.
Yep, that's true. I'll be on my next project.
But
yeah,
so
I think
how did they perform? And so if these were original tacticals, I'm assuming when you transition them, they still kept the same war gear, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking still just bolters and chainswords, right?
Yeah.
How they do?
So veterans are weapon skill 5, and with Deathwing you get a +1 to hit. So I'm hitting fucking basic weapon skill 4 dudes on 2s.
Holy shit!
Oof.
With chainswords, with shred.
Good.
Pretty
you're
dope.
Just fucking punking other tacticals. Like, Daddy will show you how it's done. Bah, bah.
Yeah, like they feel like Deathwing Knight, dudes. Like they know how to use their swords. The sergeant, I give him a Calbanite Warblade, so it's +1, power sword. But hell, hitting on 2s, +1 strength, wounding on 3s in most situations. So I'm pretty happy with him. I got a little, they're my little pride and joy at this point. So
yeah, that's solid. Because honestly, I feel like you only ever hear of vet squads being taken in like Pride of the Legion lists where somebody wants like cheap troops for whatever reason.
Yeah, I will say I did take them in the Pride Legion because I had a bunch of cataphracti that I wanted to paint up too. But that being said, with 2 wounds, you don't feel the in this, and especially in this edition, it's a mass of bodies is what really makes a lot of the units effective. But having 2 wounds kind of curbs that hurt of not having as many bodies on the field. And with Relentless, I love being able to just move my full 6 inches, fire my bolters, and then go charge.
Yeah, there's
That's
something
really
to be
cool.
said. As a longtime Space Wolf player, there's a joy in running up to somebody, double tapping your bolters, and then charging them anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to share mine. I have the Nemesis destroyers that I built, right?
Yeah.
However, they can be kitted out exactly the same way veterans can be. The exact same war gear. So what I've done is the first time I played them, I didn't have like a place to put my HQ, so I decided, well, I'll just run them as veterans. And man, they 2 plasma guns, the rest of them with bolters, Thunderhammer on the sergeant, were really effective. And as Austin was saying, the whole bolter firing, double tapping, and then the plasma, and then people being like, you can't charge, you shot at me. And I was like, I'm relentless. And people are like, fuck, vets are relentless now. But everybody learns that vets are relentless as they're charging you. Is when you learn. But I mean, now I was just Ultramarines, right? So I'm not hitting dudes on 2+, but even still, I would send them after regular tactical squads, and they would just bully them. They would just like fucking call them names and fucking kick sand in their eyes and all kinds of stuff.
Vets feel like actual veterans now.
Yeah.
Versus a standard tactical. Compared, model. Like they feel superior.
I felt the pain of the veteran when I started taking AP2 shots.
Sure.
then I was like, ooh, I kind of wish they were Terminators at that point. I kind of wish they had an info. But for what they are, and here's, okay, well, I want to back up also about the Nemesis thing,
Yeah.
right? Nemesis destroyers. It is only 57 more points to run them as veterans, and you get so much more. You get the extra weapon skill, the extra wound. You don't get the Bane Strike rounds or whatever they are. But, I mean, really, for all your trading for the combat aesthetic, I think it's good.
Plus, if you throw in an HQ or even an apothecary in with a veteran squad, that really, again, assists with the hurt of just a small model count.
And looking at their stats, it also would be funny. You've got your 10-man squad, right? You got a couple of guys like a plasma gun, heavy bolter, whatever. But you can give any model in the unit a nemesis bolter, a relentless nemesis bolter. So give like 2 guys in the squad a nemesis bolter
that are relentless.
Oh yeah,
just for the pinning.
Yeah,
like the pinning and being able
what about
to
the shotgun
maybe
for
pick out
concussive?
Right.
You can give a dude shot. So I have another vet squad that each dude has a completely different loadout. So when it comes to the gameplay, it's so annoying because each one has to be rolled separately. One guy's got a power sword, another dude has 2 lightning claws, one guy has a chain sword, whatever. So one guy has a graviton gun, and then the other guy has what you guys were just saying. I'm sorry.
Nemesis bolter?
Shotgun.
Oh, we gotcha.
For that concussive, man. It's just, but now I'm thinking, and then I did the graviton because I wanted to make difficult, dangerous terrain for people who, if they try to charge me or whatever, I don't know. So anyways, it's neat that they can be that customized. It's a pain in the ass when you customize them to play them as such. Just be warned, okay, folks? It's sometimes easier to just give them all power swords,
Which is going to be my next time I make a veteran squad.
Yeah.
Guys with power swords.
So it's like they're
It could be
slowly
such
getting
a good looking army.
It's like they're slowly getting promoted until they finally get the shields and then the winged helms, and then all of a sudden they're the HQ
companions,
dudes, right? Yeah, the companions.
Then suddenly Jesse will have 30,000 points of Dark Angels, and each one of them will be a Centurion.
I can't play anymore. I promoted them too much.
Right? It's 4th edition Horus Heresy. The year is 2044. Every one of Jesse's tacticals is now a Praetor.
I can live with that.
Yeah. These dudes just are not retiring. We're so top heavy at this organization.
that he has to buy the new starter box set a couple times to get new tacticals.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't going to do that anyway.
Right.
So that's that's our 3rd unit then, huh? The veteran squad, which again I think vastly underutilized. I don't see a lot of them.
Certainly underappreciated.
I feel like if people are bringing them, I think Austin, you nailed it. It feels like most people bring them just because it's a quick, cheap tax for a Pride of the Legion compulsory thing, right?
Although I feel people lean more generally towards the Terminators versus the veterans, which understandably, who doesn't love a invulnerable save?
Yeah, definitely. Especially if the box comes with 2 5-man squads. You know?
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Steven, what do you got?
Yeah. What do you have, Steven?
Yeah. It better not be Gal Vorbak. Get out of here.
Me? Oh, well, it's going to be pretty obvious. It's Dreadnoughts.
Completely. People are just dogging on them. They're not that bad.
Yeah, well, no, not Contemptor Dreadnoughts, because Contemptor Dreadnoughts are finally where they should be. I'm talking about the humble, squat-legged, every day is leg day, Castroferum Dreadnoughts.
Saw this coming.
I haven't seen anybody put Castroferums on the table yet, except for me.
I have seen
I think you're the only person who owns them.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is I've seen them on Instagram.
They are getting hard to find.
But I've never seen them in real life. I feel like they are like an out-of-print army, and to have them is almost like, I mean, people post them, and Jesus, they go feral.
Wasn't a Castaferum featured in the 10th edition trailer?
Don't fucking! You're about to trigger so many people. You're gonna
wasn't
fucking
it?
No.
That
is a Redemptor, my man. Oh my god!
It looks like one, but it's still a Redemptor. Boo! Yeah, it's still got that. Plate over the over the sarcophagus.
I stand
It's got its
corrected.
little,
Okay.
Oh
Damn.
man,
You're sitting down and I can see you.
fucking canceled. You just got canceled by the community. Oh man. No, but it is inspired by the Castaferum. Yeah.
I wish it was a Castroferum, right? Because the Castroferum needs a new model, especially
If Indominus are getting new models, which look fucking dope as hell,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Well, that's what
give
this.
the Castaferum could.
Look. That's kind of what this 10th edition starter set has been. I know we're not a 10th edition podcast, but it all has been like inspired by old style fluff, right? Like we're getting a new Terminator. We're getting a new Terminator captain, which we haven't had. Whew, that's old. We're getting a new Terminator librarian, new Terminators, and this Redemptor
New
that is definitely
Termagants.
exactly right. These old kits, the whole like Larry Russ Velociraptor, what Ryan Vestigial Velociraptor,
Von Ryan's Leaper.
Yeah, that's
from
it.
the old
Yep.
3rd edition Tyranid Codex. Yeah, boy.
Yeah. So they're really doing a lot of like old nostalgia stuff to bring in some people, I think. But those Terminators, guys, I really kind of want them for Indominus Terminators because they look fucking sick. They're so good.
They are sexy. They are sexy.
It's like-
All right.
Anyways,
But to get back to Steven's box knot fever dream.
box knot fever.
Anyway, yeah. So I love the Castroferum. As everybody knows, my favorite models are dreadnoughts. And as much as I love the Contemptor, the Castroferum just looks so Warhammer.
Yeah, guys, let's not lie. It's
the iconic one, right? Like, like it's Indominus Terminator, it's the Mark 7 Tactical Marine, and the box knot. Like that's $40K.
It's the huge. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love the Contemptor, but like I don't know, man. Ever since I saw that opening trailer for Dawn of War, when that dreadnought grabs an orc and just like pumps him and throws him aside.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the assault cannon goes wah. I mean,
Yep.
And then when Dawn of War 2 came out,
yeah, it's the vision slit instead of like an actual helmet. Big slab-sided armor. It's the 41st millennium, and we're still burning dinosaurs to fuel our giant ancient war machine. Like he's so
and the little stubby legs going walk, 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 walk.
And let's not remember the joy of holding the original, like the metal box knot. I don't know if you guys have held a metal box
for
knot.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, you guys have all done. Mike has not.
You ever put one in a sock and beat a man with it?
Funnily enough, yes. And the thing is about 5 pounds. It's amazing.
I have an original metal battleship, which I imagine is a similar feeling.
Yeah.
It's a little different because it's more spread out. So that's more of like a stabby.
Okay, question for the old hammer guys here. Which weighed more, was a box knot or a great unclean one? Had to have been the great unclean one, right? Because that thing was like a solid turd made of pewter.
No, because it was not solid.
What?
It was like a
lot
shell,
smaller.
and it was a lot smaller than its current
No,
incarnation.
I remember it was a lot smaller.
yeah.
I think
But
like
it was
half
not
a cent of a Coke can,
It was
right?
not a solid. It was not a solid piece.
Oh, I thought it really was like
The Great Unclean one is definitely heavier. It's about the same size, but it's just one dense piece of pewter. And then it has a couple of extra
That's what
parts.
I thought.
I don't think it was one
I
like
think
cast. I think it was a
turd
couple of
body
pieces that
was.
came together.
Unless they did two
I
castings.
have the original. I have one sitting in my monster box.
Hmm.
And,
Yeah.
All right.
That boy he's thick. He chonky. But anyway, so like a lot of people, even in first edition,
Yeah, I feel like people
weren't really down
if they had them from their
with
40K collection, they brought them
because they were
over.
just worse contemptors.
But I feel like by then they were so like at that time frame they were so abundant that they felt like they weren't
everybody
special,
had
right?
the Dark Vengeance,
Exactly, right.
the Dark Vengeance box knot,
or
and the Contemptor was like the new sexiness. It really is like
Yeah.
a poster child of 30K
Mhm.
when 30K first came out.
Yeah, but I mean the humble Castroferum. So now, right, still rocking T6, which effectively makes it bolter proof. you still have to point heavy weapons at it in order to kill it at range. It's got the 2-up armor, the 5-up invuln save. It's surprisingly durable. But what I love about the Castroferum is that packed into that durable package is the fact that it can double up on Gravis weapons, and it becomes an incredibly cheap fire platform. A Castroferum with 2 Gravis autocannons is slower but cheaper and just as dangerous as a bog standard Sicaran.
Not even that, but I mean the price difference between a Castaferum with dual Gravis las cannons versus, say, a Deredeo.
Yeah, and it still has helical targeting, so like it doesn't need the heavy Arachnus ones.
Yeah, it is definitely a more viable, cheaper option that I've never considered. I mean, if you're struggling for like anti-air, right? You might not be able to afford the Deredeo at whatever 290 points or however much they are.
Yeah, and if you're not bringing Legion elites and you're not bringing vet squads, then your elite slot is relatively free to just throw dreadnoughts into.
Yeah, it is.
My Iron Warriors list has 2 Castroferums with 2 Gravis bolt cannons, and those dudes just mow down infantry.
And that is 125 points
like
for those of you that don't have legacies handy.
Mm-hmm.
The Castroferum.
Wait, how much are they?
A Castroferum with 2 Gravis bolt cannon is 125 points.
How much are they for the las cannons? 2 las cannons.
165.
Wow. That's such a good price.
For price comparison, Deredeo with the autocannons is 205.
Yeah, so
with the heavy las cannon battery, it is 225.
Yeah, and it's another 20 points to give it like the helical targeting array, 5 for a searchlight, all that.
No, it comes with.
I think it's talking about the Castaferum.
Okay.
And I mean, yes, it's Power Fist, and yes, it only swings at initiative 2. But like, if you throw the Castroferum at stuff that isn't really built for close combat, like shooty squads, you catch some artillery crews or something, God forbid you catch a mortal squad with one, it's still going to go right through them.
Look, initiative 2 is all it needs, because all it has to do is swing before that sergeant with a Thunderhammer. That's all it has to do.
That's a fair point.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. My personal favorite loadout, which is one that it's currently I haven't put it on the table yet because it's not being finished painted, but it is a Castroferum Dreadnought with a Gravis Plasma Cannon and a Gravis Auto Cannon. I feel like the large blast means it can handle large units. It's got breaching 4-up. It has the auto cannon for like pinging off pull points of heavier vehicles. But then the auto cannon still works just as good against infantry. Both weapons have a 36-inch range, so he just kind of like advances with the infantry and shoots whoever is mean to them.
Don't be mean to my little brothers. Did you guys see the what was that? Angels of Blood or whatever on Warhammer TV?
Angels of Death?
Angels of Death, yeah, the dreadnought called the Tech Marine Little Brother.
Oh.
Get behind me, little brother, and then he starts mowing dudes down with the assault cannon.
Yeah, that was a good series. I did enjoy that series.
That was an excellent Castaferum in that one.
Love it. Yeah. So, so for underrated unit, for me, it's always Dreadnoughts and it's always Castroferum.
Nobody loves them as much as me.
Wild.
I would be surprised if anybody in Virginia has more Castroferum Dreadnoughts in their display cases as I do.
Okay, Steven,
right, what's your number,
this.
No. What's your number?
Hashtag Castroferum Challenge.
Yeah.
Let's see. 3. So I have 3 for Word Bearers. I have 5 for the Iron Warriors. I have a Dark Angels metal Castroferum. I have a Blood Angels metal Castroferum. Does the Chaos Dreadnought count as a Castroferum?
Only if you have the Chaos Dreadnought and not the new Hellbrute or whatever it's called.
Oh, true.
Then I have a Chaos Castroferum.
All right.
So let's see what that's 11.
12? I don't count anymore. I got hung up with
11 or 12. We could go back.
12?
I'll say 11.
Yeah, I have.
And now I'll say
these are all-
12. And when Jesse goes to do the editing, he can just pick the right one and keep
He'll
careful.
definitely do that.
He'll 100% do that, ladies and gentlemen.
He's not gonna let this entire section run.
So there's the challenge.
built by hand. Built and painted?
And for reference, those are the ones that are built.
Oh.
But they are in display case. They're in the display case.
I'll allow that they're in the display case. So if you have 12, pause. If you have 13 dreadnoughts built and displayable, and you're in the state of Virginia, or even if you're not in the state of Virginia and just want to make Steven look bad, post them somewhere, hashtag RR30K. Jesse knows all the ways that we can see all of your stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we will do absolutely nothing about it except mock Steven live on the air. Well, in a recording.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's a time-honored tradition.
There's a Instagrammer,
Yeah.
Chick Paints. She paints Ultramarines, and I think she has more dreadnoughts than Steven.
Probably. Castroferum?
Oh no.
More dreadnoughts or more Castroferum? Because I have a lot of dreadnoughts.
Well, first off, more dreadnoughts and more Castaferums. She's crazy for dreadnoughts. It's insane, y'all. You need to check out her work. The amount of dreadnoughts she has. She's been featured on Warhammer. Chick Paints.
All right.
Let me make sure that's her name, because she's been featured in like Warhammer web community stuff.
I'm gonna go look this person up. It's gonna be like 40 fucking Castroferum dreadnoughts, and Steven's just gonna be done.
Well, I can't let this stand.
It's crazy the amount of work she's done.
That's a lot of Lehman Russes too.
She's insane. This work is good.
Yeah. Good stuff.
I actually have so many unbuilt dreadnoughts that
Quick, Steven, now's the time. Go buy a bunch of epic dreadnoughts.
It's gotten to the point where I have so many unbuilt dreadnoughts and therefore so many dreadnought spare parts that I have started planning like super cool.
Yeah, I was getting ready to ask you, do you have like a dreadnought junkyard where you can $20 all you can carry? And then you just have dudes walking out with assault cannons. They're like, I got this. Oh.
Yeah, well, I used to have all of my dreadnought parts in one like bits bin drawer. And then it started overflowing, so I had two. And then I got more, so then I like took them all out and put them all in like a gallon Ziploc bag. And it's just escalated from there. I have more dreadnoughts than when the Age of Darkness box set came out, and I went to go pick everything up and hang out with the homies, I brought my dreadnought box with me, and anyone who was like, "Hey, what Legion are you playing?" Okay, here's dreadnought parts for it.
Oh yes, that's right. I remember.
Yeah.
You're giving away carapaces and stuff like that. So let me
dreadnought
ask
care
you,
packages.
Get it out of my house,
Steven, I wanted to purchase 2 Castaferum dreadnoughts with, say, las cannons and missile launchers each, like the classic plastic old school configuration. Do you think
it has a name? It's called the Hellfire.
Shit. Okay, nerd. Do you think you could procure a Hellfire within 15 minutes?
Like right now, because I'm not home right now.
Yeah. Well, this is a hypothetical. This is a hypothetical. Do you think you have that many parts available that I could just pick a variant and be like, build it, and you could do that?
Probably.
I mean, obviously, set aside from some very specific, like the Chaplain Dreadnought or something like that, right?
Okay, there's the 13th Dreadnought. I forgot that I do have a Wormwood Sons Chaplain Dreadnought.
Or possibly 12th.
Yeah.
Or 14th at this point.
It probably not a Castroferum, because I purged a lot of my Castroferum parts to give to other people. Like I know I gave away 3 las cannons to a guy here in Richmond. I've cut up a lot of power fists to make what are they called? Cordis Contemptors. Yeah, so like a lot of my Castroferum parts have gone on to become Cordis Contemptor parts.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And as you say, it's actually kind of difficult to justify buying Castroferum Dreadnoughts.
Really?
I mean, it's a $60 kit for something that I already have 13, 14, or 12 of.
Yeah.
Of course, that doesn't stop me from buying Contemptors, so I don't see why it should stop me from buying Castroferum.
It's like Schrodinger's dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Man, I'm looking at the Dreadnought or the Castaferum profile now, and it is really solid.
Yeah, T6.
It's very efficient.
Still has, I mean, T6 with 5 wounds. It still has a 5-up invul. I mean, instant death.
It takes a disturbing amount, not a disturbing amount, but like more than you want to have to dedicate of firepower to kill it.
And ballistic skill 5 for a perfect shooting platform, as you mentioned, or weapon skill 5 for, you know, a little snippy boy.
He's a little too slow to be a snippy boy.
I feel like the Dreadnought drop pod probably doesn't justify its cost then, huh?
Yeah, I don't really like Dreadnought drop pods just because it's 100 points for Deep Strike, basically.
Yeah. This
Oof.
Yeah, this definitely it's a sit back and shoot type of.
But it's a very efficient shooting platform.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only time that I continue to put my Castroferums in drop pods is when they have Hellstorm cannons or Flamestorm cannons. The Dreadnought flamethrower.
Oh yeah, that thing is so cool. Do you have one of those for like Zone Mortalis?
That's what I used to do to Austin's heavy support squads. Is I would just drop down the Hellstorm cannon, which is strength 7. So it was just instant deathing his AP3 heavy bolters.
Fucking disrespectful.
Just game starts. Okay, take them off the table.
My poor mortals. They never deserved it.
My boys.
In like 2 weeks, I'm going to have militia rules again, and you'll pay. You'll all pay.
You'll get them soon, Austin. You'll get them soon.
Look, the way it reads, not that, I have a degree in English or anything, but it says that in between the reveals at Warhammer Open and the posting of the article, the thing would occur, and the thing was militia rules. That's what I want in my life.
Soon, Austin, soon. What unit do you have, Austin, that is underappreciated?
All right, so mine, I have mentioned it before, but I'm going to get on my high horse about it again since you asked. And that is the command squad on combat bikes.
On combat bikes?
Combat bikes specifically, because that's the one I've done the most math on and figuring it all out. And they're glorious. All right. So the way I built the squads is, Sergeant doing a bunch of fun stuff, although that's not actually a thing in a command squad. Because I originally built them as Outriders. So it was Outriders with command squad, 7 power weapons across the board. There were power lances for the extra initiative. Vex, Vox, sundry fixins, like Artificer armor on the Sergeant. And all that for 10 of them came out to 315 points. 3-up armor for the Outriders. 3-up armor, strength 4, toughness 4, weapon skill 4, 1 wound. Just fast Marines.
Mm-hmm.
The Legion Command Squad, equipped identically, the only difference being instead of a Vex, they have the Legion Standard, which is a slightly different thing that you're getting out of it. Is a grand total, stand by while I do the math again, of 13 points more expensive.
For the whole unit?
For the whole unit. It's 315 for the Outriders, 328 for the command squad.
So we're talking an extra wound, Artificer armor.
They're all in Artificer armor. They all have 2 wounds. They're all weapon skill 5 base. They
Jesus.
all come with a bolter, bolt pistol, chain sword. As opposed, so it's the bolter. They get the free bolter.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's just amazing. That's amazing. You're doubling the wounds. You're drastically increasing the survivability. The only real downside comparatively is you can't have an apothecary in the unit. So you don't have a feel no pain to fall back on. But your bikes go fast. You'll get a 5-up. It'll be fine.
If you really wanted it, just get a Primus Medicae.
No. Well,
No?
no.
Well,
I
okay.
don't know if a Primus Medicae could join the retinue. Because that's the
Yeah.
thing. You
They can.
buy them. They can?
Yeah, because that's the only way to get a medic into a command squad is a Primus
Yeah.
Medicae.
Oh, well, there you go. That becomes real expensive, but
Yeah,
also, damn.
Right.
Plus, I mean, that takes away one of your potential slots because you want to take 3 command squads. Do you not?
So the only way you can do that, and I don't disagree with the doing of it, is bringing Delegatus, because to have a command squad, generally they only go with Praetors, but they can also go with Delegatus. However, Delegati can't be taken if there's a Praetor in the list.
Right, so you have to do 3 Delegati?
So you have 3 Delegatii. He says, like he remembers
I've
his
heard
Latin.
worse. I've heard worse situations. When
Right?
you get-
I mean, I'm taking 2 in the list for what were originally thematic reasons, and now that they're command squads, it all just kind of works out.
Do they have to be warlords?
No.
And then they don't. Okay. Because
No.
I was wondering if they had to be warlords. Then.
Sorry, I'm trying to flip to
And the other
the
thing,
console
the Delegatus
rules.
doesn't have the restrictions of 1 per 1,000, right?
Hold
Which
on,
would
hold
allow you to
on.
bring multiple.
Master of the Legion grants retinue,
Mm-hmm.
but Master Legion doesn't necessarily mean that you
There we go.
have-
Sorry, it is annoying. Like, I love that they have all of the Centurions in their own section now, but it is annoying to try and find that section. Yeah, so they have the Master of the Legion, can be included in armies of less than 1,000 points. Just can't have it with a Praetor, and they get the Rally the Legion special rule, which is once per battle at the start of any of the controlling player's turns, you activate the rule. Take a leadership test for the model. If passed, all friendly units that are pinned or falling back and have at least one model that control line of sight to your Delegatus immediately rally and are no longer pinned or falling back, and they act as normal.
Oh boy,
So
that's
no,
really good.
nothing saying you can't bring 2 Delegatus?
Nope.
No,
Nope.
'cause, yeah, it's based off Master of the Legion,
Yeah.
not
Yep.
Warlord. So.
Yep.
Pretty solid. So
That's
like,
what I'm
dang, man. So the idea of bringing 3,
Oh, hey, up, hang on.
Yikes.
We're done. Sorry, guys.
what did we find?
Under retinue, if the detachment includes more than one model with the Master Legion special rule, then the controlling player selects one as the unit's leader.
As the unit's leader, you can take another
yeah.
unit.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Yeah,
you
get
got
outta
3
here.
retinue
Still here.
for 3.
I was about to say, I have
Oh,
looked
shit.
up this so fucking much.
Mhm.
If you find out I'm wrong now in an episode I know you won't edit.
There you go. All right. No, you're good.
But yeah, and again, you can do the same thing with the Scimitar jet bike. That is a little more expensive just because if you wanted 10 of them, it would be 300 points just to put them on the bikes.
Yeah, but they can still then take all the different heavy weapons, right? Scimitars are super.
No, so that's the thing about it. That is technically another downside of the command squad is that you only take the bikes, and the bikes themselves cannot be upgraded. So I guess if you wanted, but
so
now
all the scimitars would have to be heavy bolters.
yeah. Which I mean, if you're
Interesting.
Imperial Fist or something, like who cares, right?
Sure.
But yeah, so if you want like all plasma guns, all melt-a-gun, whatever, you'd still need to bring the traditional Outrider squadron. But the fact that it's all or nothing with those sorts of weapons means you probably only wanted a small unit of them anyway. So like, what are you doing? And if you have fancy guns, you're not trying to shove a bunch of power weapons up something. So again,
Right, yeah.
why bother with
Defeats-
command squad at that point?
I I would say the additional wound, right?
Well, in the
Are
2-up
they better
save.
ballistic skill
Yeah.
also?
No, they are still just BS4.
Oh, okay.
But they're also
so, yeah, I
leadership
guess
8 across the board, which matters a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
and
There's a
whatever
couple
their
reasons if you
Centurion is
did
stuck
want a mobile gun platform. A couple reasons why you might want to take scimitars, but I think the bonus is taking almost outriders with all the power weapons.
Yeah,
making use of that weapon skill.
That's where they're making up the points. Also, for some strange reason, it's much cheaper to get power weapons in the squad. I don't know why. I don't make the rules.
Oh, just like generally overall, you mean? Like
yeah, the command
5
squad
points
takes them
each.
for 5 points each, and the outriders are 10 points each.
Oh wow!
So
okay.
yeah, the more power weapons you stack on it, the better the deal.
No.
So yeah, if you wanted all of them to have power weapons, it would actually be cheaper to take the command squad, minus the delegatus tax, obviously.
Yeah.
But
Vets can take power weapons for 5 points each.
yeah, and that's
But,
really
yeah.
all the Legion command squad is, right? They're just vets and artificer armor.
Basically.
They're so good. And also hilariously for Space Wolves, if you put them on the bikes, their weapon skill 6 on the charge. So their weapon skill 6, initiative 5
Jeez
with
Louise.
AP 3, and they just reeve through anything that's not in Terminator armor. It's amazing. It really does make me happy.
Again, who would have thought the Space Wolves were the bike legion
They're
in this
just
game?
longboats.
It's
but we-
amazing. And the only reason I came to this ridiculous idea is that there is no right of war that lets you take outriders as troops.
Yeah,
Oh, there's not.
No, as it
They
stands,
don't
there
bring
is
one
not.
of those over. Oh,
they did
Nope,
not.
you can. Yeah, no, you get a speeders, piles of speeders and jet bikes.
Oh, as troops.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Or is
Yeah.
it non-compulsory?
Yes, but there's nothing in it that lets you take outriders as troops, which is what I
Interesting.
was hoping for because I had initially
Yeah.
wanted a bunch of outriders and some terminators, and like that was going to be kind of the theme because of the fluff. And then I was trying to figure out how to do that without having my outriders as troops. And then I realized I could just do Pride of the Legion, and
Yes,
then all of my
sir.
Terminators score and my
Yeah.
bike score because of the banner, and everybody's 2
Oh,
wounds
yeah.
and 2-up armor.
Oh, it's almost like it's even better than you imagined.
It really is. I've only run the list once, I think, just against Steven, and it wasn't oppressively good.
But did you have fun?
Oh, it was
Did
hilarious.
it play
It was
to
great.
the narrative that you had kind of hoped it would?
It absolutely did. It absolutely did. It made me a very, very happy nerd.
Excellent.
You got to drive in and beat shit up of stuff. So, yeah,
Yeah.
that sounds Space Wolfy.
Well, I think that covers everybody then, right? So we have the Javelin Speeder. We have the Tactical Squad. We have the Veteran Tactical Squad, Castaferum Dreadnought, and Command Squad on
Yeah, the Mounted
bikes.
Command Squad. Yeah.
Some fun units that we really enjoyed that were, I guess, didn't really
aren't really
envision as
seen-
expected to. They performed better than expected.
You won't
Yeah.
see them a lot on the table with people loving them or people not loving them on the internet. That I think is the rule, and I think we hit it. it.
But I'd love to hear what everybody else's opinion is. As always, maybe we're dead wrong. Maybe
your meta may vary.
maybe Steven is full of shit.
Maybe your meta is nothing but Castaferums.
It is impossible for us to be wrong. We have a podcast.
The rest of the world's meta is nothing but Castaferums.
We
We have
decide
literally
what is
tens of
correct.
listeners.
But yeah, I think that's pretty good. And I mean, to be fair, every unit we listed out are units that I would definitely play with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as soon as Steven started talking about the Dreadnoughts, I'm already looking at buying some. It's ridiculous, like I don't need them, but
So,
they just
a
sounded
note
so
on,
good. So,
Reject modernity, return to box.
yes.
A note on Castraferum. If you do want to buy Castraferum because you heard the insane points efficiency,
Steven's selling
You
them.
can,
Yeah.
you can usually pick
Steven
them up.
has 12, somewhere between 11 and 15 dreadnoughts that are painted, ready to go.
Actually, the Great White Whale for me is the Wordbearer's Legion Castraferum Dreadnought from Forge World that I never got a chance to buy before it went out of production,
Oh.
and I cannot find it anywhere.
But you were before that. You were mentioning where we could find Castaferums. Go for it.
Oh yeah, if you have a local game store that like buys and sells used models, there's you can almost guarantee there's some plastic dreadnoughts sitting in the used model case. Now the downside to that
absolutely.
being is that they
You know,
probably have a
I'm
2 centimeter
not-
thick coat of paint on them.
I'm not sure that's as true as it once was, Steven. Like you said, those
Well, it's certainly not true in Richmond anymore because I bought them all.
those don't get the love you'd expect them to have. I mean, some of those old bits are getting hard to find. Like I was looking the other day for a couple of just the blank company banners from the old.
Oh yeah.
And like you can't even find those on eBay.
Like gold.
Like they're just not around anymore, which makes me sad because I need 2 more of them and I don't know where I'm going to find them. But anyway,
Got to dig deep.
right?
It's time to start. I actually heard, or I saw a little Instagram post that you can take a Coke can and cut
I've
off.
seen this too.
Steven,
cut
And
out
then
a
put it in your
square.
mouth and eat
This-
it.
Like
Nobody
aluminum.
fucking wants to do that much work. We want the plastic ones, goddammit. That are
Steven, this
molded
isn't
and crafted to our design.
1996. All right.
Isn't it? You can't find your bit on eBay. So what year is it, Austin?
All right. I'm going to boot up Netscape and go look up how to do this. But yeah, that's the ancient way.
Yeah. Apparently, you just cut out a square, you sand it down, you prime
That's
it.
the ancient way. Just sand the edges or leave the edges and offer to have people pick it up. Free red
Funny
paint
fact.
job.
Back in the day, I just used paper.
Hey, cool banner. Can I touch it? Yeah. Make sure you touch it on the edges, though. That's the best way.
Mm.
Well, yeah, thank you
Well,
guys.
Yeah, no, this was a blast. It was
Yeah.
good to get back to form, just chill out and chat. So, Austin, thank you for the this week's topic.
I live to serve.
I appreciate it. If people out there want to chime in on what they think is a underutilized unit that does really well in the edition, give us a shout out at RR30K Podcast on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, until next time, for everyone here at the Remembrancers Retreat.
I feel like you had a pause, like we were all
Why'd
supposed to
you
chime
stop?
in.
I don't. I was like,
You gotta give
who do I
us a
start
script.
with? Who do I start with? I
Jesus
wasn't gonna-
Christ.
You could have just
Hey,
said, keep
I
those
was
dice
pointed.
rolling.
Right?
Well, we can see you. We're using cameras now. You could go back to pointing.
All right. So, on behalf of everyone here tonight, keep those dice rolling. I wish I need something new. We're doing this for 5.
No, okay,
No,
hold on.
don't change
Yeah.
perfection.
Hold
Jesse.
on.
Get out of
No,
here.
why bother
Have you
changing?
seen
Yeah.
the new Indominus Terminator? It's perfect because it is without
Yeah,
change.
what else are you gonna say?
Mm-hmm.
What you got, Will? Yeah, Will's got something. He's leaning in.
Yeah, just like the warp
What you got?
spider.
I really hope it's just a recording of Jesse saying, "Keep those dice rolling."
Yeah, I blanked as soon as you called on me. I'm so sorry. I had
It's harder
something
than
in the
it looks,
chamber.
ladies and gentlemen, to
and it
outro a
just
podcast.
went. Okay, I got something for you. Don't be the spider that went up the water spout. Be the spider that ate the bird that flew through the banana bush.
Keep those dice rolling and bye for now.